Andrew Jack finished 3rd place at the Olympia 2 weeks ago, but for many people he was the real winner. He was that good. There's a big majority of people claiming that, so in a way he may be the best bodybuilder in the world at the moment. However, what Martin Fitzwater brought to the stage at the Prague Pro this past weekend was simply out of this world. He gave no chance to Samson Dauda and Keon Pearson, who for many were the strongest bodybuilders in the world before the Olympia. I believe this version of Martin is the closest thing to feel heat since the Gift retired. So I dare to say that Andrew Jack at the 2025 Mr. Olympia versus Martin Fitzwater at the 2025 Prague Pro will determine who's the best bodybuilder in the world right now. So without further ado, let's get to the poses. Front double biceps is first, and it's hard to believe, but the Olympia had actually better lighting than Prague. The organizers of the Prague Pro completely messed up this aspect, so Martin would be at a disadvantage from this point of view. However, it is still remarkable how conditioned Andrew was at this year's Olympia, since at least from the front he looks more detailed overall than Martin. However, the aspect where Martin was better is the fullness. That's the thing with open bodybuilding nowadays. Athletes need to find the perfect balance between fullness and dryness, having to maintain that for tens of minutes or maybe hours for a full round at a crazy 2-day schedule for the Olympia. So sometimes some of them look too full, losing details, or coming too flat. That's why your 90s athletes look more detailed, because they weren't as full as today. Anyway, Martin found the perfect balance in Prague, maintaining the extra fullness, while Andrew looks indeed more detailed, but he's a bit flatter. But regardless, unless Andrew is actually off, he ain't losing this pose to Martin Fitzwater. Even though Martin is pretty strong as well, Andrew is simply one of the best ever from the front, so nothing strange here so far. Same thing in the front lat spread. Andrew's tall and wide structure, his aesthetic flow, and his polished look from the front make him pretty unstoppable. He's got some great lat development, so he pretty much has this pose locked as well on any stage today. Martin looks great for him, but he doesn't have the structure nor the lat width to compete with Andrew Jack here. So Andrew dominates both front poses, but again, nothing unusual here. He pretty much does that with everybody today. Side chest is next, and we're starting to see already why Andrew is not the undisputed best in the world. He looks like one of the best ever in the front poses, but he struggles in all the others. Like here in the side chest, he doesn't look like he's packing enough size on that huge frame. He lacks the volume. Plus, the lower body looks too soft. In comparison, just look at Martin, who's simply fuller and drier. Even though he's giving up some good inches in overall width, from the side Martin looks like he's the bigger bodybuilder. Easy win for the Martian in the side chest pose. Back double biceps is next, and when it comes to the upper body, I feel like Andrew was always overlooked in the back poses. Martin is recognized already as having one of the best backs in the world, but seeing him next to Andrew doesn't convince me he actually wins the back department. Now it's true that he's got some crazy volume through the traps and shoulders, but he's lacking lat width, a detail where Andrew excels. Andrew's peaky biceps and defined triceps give his upper body an overall great look. It's almost debatable for the upper body. However, when we go downstairs, the debate is over. Despite Andrew's improvements, he's still pretty soft through the glutes and hams, especially when you have him next to a guy like Martin Fitzwater. I've never seen such a complete lower body since Branch Warren, honestly. The level of muscularity and especially the hardness and the muscle separation are simply insane. This physique right here can beat everyone in bodybuilding today. I say that without hesitation. Martin Fitzwater was overlooked enough. If he will bring this shape consistently, I don't see how anyone could beat him in the following years. I'm officially on the Martin Fitzwater hype train. Now if you wanna see this physique of his compared to Nick Walker at his best, my favorite bodybuilder, let's get 700 likes or 50 new subscribers for this video. This should be a good one. Back lat spread, and this looks a little bit closer. Now, Martin still wins the lower body by a good margin, but upper body when it comes to the lat spread poses, he really struggles, especially having Andrew next to him. The safe conclusion would be to give this pose to Martin, but I'm not convinced. Andrew has more width and he's almost polished enough to snatch this away from Martin. I'm leaning more towards Martin, but this pose will not determine the winner of this comparison in the end. Side triceps is next, and we have Andrew hitting his better front triceps stance. Now, for those who wouldn't trust me that Andrew would lose the conventional execution, here you go. The picture speaks for itself. Andrew simply doesn't have the lower body, nor the triceps, nor the overall flow in this pose to match Martin Fitzwater, who looks great all around, perfectly peaked with all the essential focal point muscles needed. Now, if we go back to Andrew's front triceps execution and somehow you allow that, this could be debatable in the way of who's looking better right here. But as for what this pose should represent, this is an easy win for Martin Fitzwater, just like in the side chest. Abs and thighs is next, and I told you Andrew Jacked is one of the best of all time from the front. After easily winning the front double biceps and the front lat spread, he also looks to be winning the next front pose, the abs and thighs, where he actually might be the best of all time, so he's winning it for sure. Andrew has a level of detail from the front that makes him separate from any group on any stage. He's usually the biggest in terms of height, he has arguably the best abs ever, and his legs from the front are pretty good. He's also got some of the craziest flaring lats that contribute to a great taper as well, so nothing too much anyone could do against him in this pose, not even Martin, who has all the tools for a great abs and thighs, but he's simply not beating the Mona Lisa in this pose. Last pose is the most muscular, and usually Andrew wasn't too strong here, but this is the pose he improved the most lately, as we can see. He still has the details and the wow factor, as this is still a front pose after all. However, Martin looks so much more filled out, both upper body and lower body. Honestly, I can see a world where Andrew Jacked would win this pose right here, but I don't think we live in that world. Martin looks to be having a similar level of polish, but he's much fuller everywhere. Shoulders, chest, arms, lower body. It's kinda impossible to go against him really. For me, Martin Fitzwater wins the most muscular pose against Andrew Jacked, who looks good himself too. In conclusion, let's see who is the best bodybuilder in the world today. Andrew Jacked convincingly won the 3 front poses, the front double biceps, the front lat spread, and the abs and thighs. Martin won the rest of the 5 poses. He won just as convincingly from the side, but the back poses and the most muscular were pretty good for Andrew as well. You heard it, Andrew didn't get destroyed in the back poses, even though he lost. So since bodybuilding shouldn't be only about who's winning more poses, because as we can see, some wins can be debatable while others could be dominant. From this point of view, I believe Andrew would have the advantage in this matchup. However, Martin is better all around. He's strong from the front, back and side, he's fuller and arguably drier, especially in the lower body. So that would make him the winner of the matchup in my eyes. Thus, Martin Fitzwater with his 2025 Prague Pro version is the best bodybuilder in the world currently. Or is he? We didn't compare him to Hadi yet, or a 100% Nick Walker. Stay tuned for that next.